Gertrude Stein penned the famous line, "A rose is a rose is a rose." But Gertrude was wrong. A rose isn't always a rose. Sometimes it can be the sign of a miracle.
Welcome to the season finale of Roses and Rosewood on the Thrift Store Rundown, the only YouTube channel to bring both The Bachelor and Pretty Little Liars home on a budget. Two minor miracles in the grand scheme of television, and you probably get this by now, two major miracles in the even grander scheme of binge-worthy guilty pleasures. While I am sorry to say that this iteration of Roses and Rosewood is our last ride, yeah, I know, a premature end, but hey, I took it as far as I could with the issues of People and Us Weekly magazines that I bought the year prior to this. I'm definitely never sorry of reviewing People magazine. They're almost always venerable. And as we started this season with People magazine, we're going to bring it all full circle by ending it with People magazine. And as we bring this full circle, we're going to bring you back to the beginning of the pandemic. As the April 6, 2020 issue of People, which I picked up for 25% off the price of $1.49, goes inside the coronavirus in America. We're in this together. Heartwarming stories of real-life heroes and celebs pulling together amid the pandemic. Plus, what you need to know now about the virus and the search for a cure. There is a cure. Vaccinations, social distancing, and of course, masking up. But of course, this is still Roses and Rosewood, so before we get to the major miracles in this cover story here, from celebrities and everyday denizens like you and me, we gotta cover the minor miracles first. And we begin once again with a visit with Lucy Hale and her beloved pup, Elvis, tagging along for a shopping trip in LA, March 19th. I know, we probably paid one too many visits with Lucy and her pup, Elvis. So in a way, maybe some of you might be glad that Elvis is going to leave the building once again. But you know what? I'm always up for a visit with Lucy Hale. Dog or no dog, mask or no mask. And hey, she's even sporting a New York Yankees baseball cap. My assistant still loves that, even though he prefers the Mets just a little bit more. By the way, this was photographed on March 19th. I like to think that this was before California Governor Gavin Newsom made masking up all across the state of California a law. If it was not done beforehand, well then, Lucy, we've been over this before. You need to mask up, goose. Anyway, some other folks who might not be taking heed of that prior to or after the fact, Hannah Brown and Tyler Cameron. A tight couple during their time on The Bachelorette, but now, no more. You know Hannah didn't give Tyler her final rose during her season of The Bachelorette, but the reality stars recently reconnected after his mother's death. They've been social distancing together in his hometown of Jupiter, Florida, staying busy by working out and making TikTok videos. Are they back on? Well, the simple answer is no, they're not back on, and they may never be back on. He was spoken for a brief period of time when Gigi Hadid scooped him up. And of course, Demi Lovato following suit with Mike Johnson. There is one more Bachelor-related article that is bittersweet for me and that I will highlight after this. Let's take a look at some stories of kindness and courage. While social distancing and stay-in orders keep communities apart, Americans are finding ways to connect and help one another. That would be everyday people like these folks, and of course, the folks that I don't cover too much here, but deserve shout-outs nonetheless. Like for instance, Jimmy Fallon doing parts of his Tonight Show at home with wife Nancy and daughters Winnie and Franny. And renowned children's book author and former TV writer Mo Willems hosting a doodle session on Instagram. Mo Williams, by the way, was the head writer for the first 4 seasons of Codenamed Kids Next Door, one of my favorite shows of all time. Not just favorite cartoons of all time, but one of my all-time favorite shows, period. He was just masterful at writing outlines and plots and villains and weapons, all sorts of cool gadgetry and gadgetry for the KND, and of course for the teen and adult villains alongside Mr. Warburton. I have to give him a shout out because he deserves some special kudos from me. Whether it's those two doing some acts of kindness from their homes, or it's Ciara and Russell Wilson taking to the streets to donate 1 million meals to the Seattle-based organization Food Lifeline, whether it's John Legend and Chris Martin and Keith Urban, with a little help from wife Nicole Kidman, doing private at-home concerts for the public, or it's Jennifer Garner and Amy Adams doing story time on social media, or whether it's everyday folks like 4 New York residents here of the organization Invisible Hands, receiving food and medicine for elderly, disabled, and sick New Yorkers, or 2 siblings performing a twin cello concerto for the entire neighborhood of Columbus, Ohio, twins Tarantine and Sister Calliope, 9 and 6 respectively. You'll find small yet miraculous instances of people doing good for their communities. May the kindness continue. Colton Underwood. I'm done hiding who I really am. The reality star, recently diagnosed with COVID-19, opens up about questioning his sexuality, overcoming anxiety, and finding true love at last, which really wasn't long-lasting. You now know that he's gay, so obviously and naturally, his time with Cassie Randolph didn't exactly last long, even though she got his final rose. This article was about the closest he ever came out to admitting that, yes, he is gay. And this article is a reflection of that. It even contains an episode from his book, The First Time, which I originally wanted him to sign for me. By now you know that around March of 2020, I was supposed to meet Colton Underwood. I was supposed to step out of my comfort zone, just as he did, by meeting a Bachelor alumni for the first time. But because of the coronavirus, and because of him contracting the virus, thankfully he has since recovered, but because of all those circumstances, that was just a pipe dream at best, and that was history. Oh well. Before he came out of the closet, this article also details in a 3-tier lineup here his journey to love, with Olympic gymnast Ali Weisman. This, by the way, is the closest I'll ever get to doing anything related to the upcoming Winter Olympics, which take place this Thursday, beginning with the opening ceremonies. Becca Kufrin. He was a student on her Bachelorette season, and of course Tia Booth. Underwood is still friends with his ex, whom he dated on Bachelor in Paradise in 2018. And of course all that led to his finding love with Cassie Randolph, even though again, it didn't last long. I'm grateful to say also that I did manage to buy Colton Underwood's The First Time at the thrift shop. Yes, I couldn't get to meet him, but at least I got the book for cheap. I reviewed it as part of my 2020 Thanksgiving special, covering the NFL portion of the program, because, well, he did a stint with a couple of NFL teams. Wanna know who they are? Well, you're gonna have to check out the book and check out the review. I'll link it in the description. And yeah, Super Bowl special coming, folks. You don't want to miss it. But in the meantime, yeah, there is a minor imperfection with the cover here, but that's just for security. I'm giving this 5 claps regardless, because it really does take me back. And yeah, Colton Underwood is a little bit of a deuce right now, but you know what? I still think about him fondly. And what would have been had he just stayed away from this virus. Although nothing compared to the miracles that you see here in this cover story. To quote Richard Thomas, who has introduced every single one of these Roses and Rosewood videos, all 5 of them including this one, it is my hope that whenever you need one, you'll find a miracle in your life too. And at the very least on my behalf, I hope you'll agree that both The Bachelor and Pretty Little Liars are two minor miracles in television, but two major miracles in the eyes of their hardcore beholders and believers, like myself. For everyone who's been a part of this one, thank you all for watching yesteryear on TSR. And now I'll take a moment and say my goodbyes. Thanks for watching TSR. Now to see another awesome review like this one, click here. If you want to become a Hollywood bargain hunter, click here to subscribe. And I'll catch you on the thrift side.